Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Matt Mettler podcast broadcast. I am your host, Matt Mettler. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. Hope everybody is doing well. So yesterday, when I was filming, I wanted to talk about the Dave Chappelle thing. I started talking about the Dave Chappelle thing, and then I think I got a bogus phone call. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got a phone call right in the middle of when I was talking about the Dave Chappelle thing, and I ended up having nothing that I could use when I went back and looked at it later. So I want to talk about the most recent Dave Chappelle special getting a lot of talk in the world. A lot of people in the world talking about the Dave Chappelle special. The left is definitely hating on it. So you know what that means is that basically all the rest of us liked it, right? I have to say, I watched it and the shit was pretty funny. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than his last special where it seemed like he couldn't get off the political shit. If you want to be a political commentator, then, make your entire jokes about politics and you will be a political commentator disguised as a comedian. Like many of the current comedians are disguised as comedians, but they're really just political commentators, right? They're really just trying to upset the pot. One of the things I love about Dave Chappelle is he is a really sharp observational comic. It's 80 degrees in here. Should probably open the door. Probably be cooler if I opened the door. He is a very sharp observational comic, and I think that he has a really good command of writing sharp-witted humor about the idiosyncrasies of humanity, right? Like, people can hate on him, but it doesn't make the things that he says untrue. I think sometimes maybe that's what makes particular comedy so funny, is that it's demented and true all at the same time. And that's kind of why you have to laugh about it, because it's the only way to mentally cope with it. The other side of that is that comedy is about making you laugh, man. Comedy is about making you laugh. And when I think about going to see comedians, the most recent stand-up comedian that we went and saw was Pablo Francisco. And I love Pablo Francisco, man. He is a master of 100 voices. He is hilarious. His personality is hilarious. And when it comes to going to see Pablo, I got a pretty good idea what I'm going to see when I go to see it, but I never know what he's going to say. It's almost like Pablo and 25 of his friends are coming along, and you have no idea what they're going to say that night, right? And that's part of what makes Pablo so funny. And the last time he was here, he goes, "I want to tell a joke, but I'm not sure I should." And I said, "Do it." Because I don't want comedians to be afraid to tell jokes, man. Don't be afraid to tell a joke for fear that it won't be funny. Because, the worst thing that happens is you get a boo or a hiss or something like that. And then you move on to the next joke, which hopefully isn't down a path of 20 jokes that were all in the same vein. As long as you don't harp on something that ain't working very long, you can try a joke that doesn't work and it's okay. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be like, because of that joke, I'm not going to come back and see you again. So to Mr. Francisco, please always feel at ease enough when you're here in Denver to tell your joke, man. And if it's not funny, well, then we won't laugh so much. But if this shit's funny, we're gonna laugh because you're a funny guy. And I don't want you to be afraid to try comedy. Denver's open-minded. When you come to Denver, don't be afraid to try a joke. Don't be afraid to try a joke. I can take a joke. As long as I'm not the only butt of the joke all night, right? I'm more than happy to be the butt of the joke at least once, right? One of the things I really miss about the old Saturday Night Live. See, I know I look really young, but technically I was born quite a while ago, right? And I grew up during the era of Saturday Night Live. And I grew up with a mom who was super ultra cool in letting me watch Saturday Night Live, even though I probably shouldn't have been. She would let me watch it anyway. And even my stepfather was pretty cool in letting me watch Saturday Night Live. And back then, when I was young, back when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that was back when I was watching, Saturday Night Live, they would make all kinds of crazy jokes. They would make all kinds of jokes that would hit on different groups of people, but they would spread the love around. They would make sure that nobody was left out, and they would also make sure to not harp on any one given group too much. That is the real basis of comedy, right? Is that as groups of people, we do have our idiosyncrasies. White people have idiosyncrasies, black people have idiosyncrasies, Indian people have idiosyncrasies, right? And it's that meat and potatoes that is the funny shit about humanity. So I thought Dave Chappelle in this last special was actually really quite funny. It was really nice to hear him kind of leave political shit alone and just sort of stick to observational comedy about the current state of humanity. And I know that a lot of people on the left are very upset about some of the things that he said. They're mad that he talked about the LGBT community, and they're mad that, you know, he made jokes about things, but it's like, you got to have a sense of humor. You can lose anything in this world except your sense of humor, and you'll still be okay. So for those people out there that have lost their sense of humor, that or you're feigning, which means you're faking it. You're faking that you're outraged, and your outrage is wearing off. It's wearing thin, man. Like, you can only pretend to be outraged about everything for so long before either we just don't care anymore or you're full of crap. So to the leftist mob that's outraged about Dave Chappelle, man, breathe. Take 10 deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, you know, and recognize that comedy is supposed to be dangerous. Comedy's supposed to be on the edge. When Eddie Murphy did Kill My Landlord, where he talked about killing white people, I didn't get in an uproar about that. I didn't demand that Eddie Murphy should be unpersoned as a human being. We all laughed at the shit and thought that it was kind of funny. We thought that it was a somewhat twisted commentary on where we were at that point in society, but we still thought that the shit was funny because Eddie Murphy's a funny-ass motherfucker, period. So for people that are upset about comedy, man, if you don't like it, just turn it off. You don't have to pee in everybody else's Wheaties. You don't have to poop on everybody else's party. If you don't like a joke, you could just decide that you're not going to listen to them, right? You can go for safer, cleaner, situationally appropriate comedy that harkens more to your internal monologue, I suppose. Me personally, I loved it. I thought the shit was funny. I was really glad that he didn't bash on Trump because I'm so tired of hearing that stuff. Yeah, I'm tired of my comedians being mouthpieces for CNN and MSNBC, right? I'm tired of that crap. So for Dave to just keep it in the realm of actual comedy, man, way to go, Dave. Loved it. I'm on your side, brother, and I've always loved you since Half Baked. You had me at Half Baked, Dave. You arrogant bastard. My point is, though, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And if you're going to get offended by it, man, you need to take a chill pill. You need to relax. Maybe you need to smoke some herb. I don't know. Maybe his comedy makes so much more sense to me because I'm an herb smoker, or I'm right there with where Dave is at as far as, you know, it seemed like all his observations were just pretty astute, funny comedy. I know that some of that shit was super dangerous that he said, but nonetheless makes an honest assessment of where we are now on the pathway to the road to destruction. If we're on the highway to hell, well, then crack a beer and cool off. So I love the Dave Chappelle special, and I think it was well worth watching. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. All right, I didn't realize that I was picking up. So I agreed to do some work over the next couple of days, right? Some showbiz work. So I don't know exactly how much time I'm going to have to do the show. I know I said I was going to create a bunch of content for you guys, but I also got to balance. I got to balance everything. So I do have 4 days of work coming up here where I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like and whether or not I'll be able to do much as far as editing and putting videos online. But I did want to give you guys kind of a heads up and just let you know that, I caught some work, and that might be why you're not seeing anything else here in the next couple of days after this particular item. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You guys are the best. I really appreciate every single one of you. One thing that I've noticed that is really super duper cool is every time I release a video, it gets more views faster, which I know that is the snowball. That is the snowball effect, that every time I release a video, it gets more views faster. And thank you, all of you, for watching. I really appreciate it. All right, until the next episode, which I'm really hoping you will join me for, thanks for watching. The Matt Mettler Podcast is a Matt Mettler production, copyright 2019.